Hellraiser 2 is a film that came out in 1988. Yes, the year I was born. This is indeed the sequel to Hellraiser, where that film was written and directed by Clive Barker. This movie, however, is directed by Tony Randall, and the beginning of this movie you see this guy open up that same cube, the puzzle box, opens it up, and it turns him into Pinhead. So we see the origin of Pinhead. Then we see Kirsty, who's once again still played by this actress, Ashley Lawrence, and she is now in a psychiatric mental hospital because clearly they don't believe her when she's trying to tell them what happened to her and her boyfriend at the end of the last film, even though we don't know what the fuck happened with the boyfriend. One of the doctors at the mental hospital hears Kirsty's story about what happened to her stepmother and how you can't trust her, and in that mattress she could come back to life. He, I guess, sort of wondering if it's true, if it's real, takes the mattress, takes one of his patients, lets her rise and consume him, starts feeding her more people so that she comes back. And then Kirsty and this new girl Tiffany has to stop them. Now, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. I thought it was better than the first film, if that's saying anything. I mean, look, I like the Kirsty character a lot more in this film. I like that everyone thinks she's crazy, so she is almost wondering if she's crazy. And I like how she's seeing images of her skinned father and the whole "I'm trapped in hell, help me" type thing. I thought that was creepy. And I initially thought it was creepy when the doctor was resurrecting Julia. But then when they fall in love, I'm like, okay, this is the same exact thing from the first film. Julia, the actress that plays Julia, the stepmom, I thought she was better because she's now evil. Even though when she comes back and she's wearing her old skin, like she looks like her from the first film, I was thinking, how come Frank in the first film didn't just wear his old skin and come back as himself? Why did he steal the skin of his brother? Uh-oh, what's that? Logic? Did I just bring logic into this movie? Fuck. Now, we meet this new character, Tiffany, who seems to have this weird fascination with puzzles. And you see, like, I don't understand how at the end of the last film, you saw that homeless guy come in, take the cube when Kirsty was trying to burn it. He turns into that pterodactyl flying thing and flies away with the cube. But in this movie, it's like Tiffany just rebuilds the cube and puts it together, and then it's like, boom, there's the cube. I'm like, how does that work? And then later on at the end of the film, you see a bunch of different crazy patients with a bunch of cubes that I'm assuming they made, and I'm like, what? Like, what's the logic? What's the logistics of this puzzle, of this cube? They didn't really spell it out to you. And Tiffany was an okay character. I liked her more towards the end because at first I was just sort of wondering, why didn't she talk? She spends the whole movie mute until the end.
And your suffering will be legendary even in hell.
Some of the creepy scenes in the movie, as I mentioned, Kirsty seeing her skinned father, or later on where she's imagining her in this living room and she sees all these pictures of her and her mother until the pictures start to bleed and blood is running down the walls and stuff. I thought that was creepy. I like the imagination. I like that they know they can sort of do anything. But then when you get to the third act, I feel like this movie just falls apart. I was sort of enjoying it up until the third act. I mean, when the doctor turns into that thing, like, Julia kills him and turns him into this different creature.
And you wanted to know. Now you know.
So then he's trying to kill Tiffany now, I guess. But then Kirsty reminds Pinhead and his gang that they used to be humans. So then Pinhead turns into a good guy for like 2 seconds until he gets killed. And I'm like, again, Pinhead. He was built up to me by so many people as being one of the greatest horror killers of all time. And so far, 2 movies in, he hasn't done fucking shit. ultimately, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, I thought it was okay. A lot better than the first film. I enjoyed the first 2/3 a lot, and then the third act, whatever. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of the sequel. And as always, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!
Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Time to play.